Guests appear as if by magic via the Jack Spring Electric Keel Newsmaker hotline. Congressman Mike Johnson is here. Hey, Mr. Mike, welcome back again. Second time this week. How you doing today?
Hey, guys. Big day. Good to hear your voices.
Yes.
A little hubbub the last couple of days here in Shreveport concerning the mayor and Shreveport first responders and the Donald Trump visit. Why don't we just throw it at you, throw it to you? Tell us what you know, tell us what you heard, and if you can, tell us about your conversations yesterday with Mayor Perkins.
Yeah, I mean, look, I do transparency, okay, and I don't do gotcha politics. I mean, politics is a blood sport these days, y'all know. And so I always do my best to give my fellow elected officials respect and deference and the benefit of the doubt. I mean, even when we're in different parties, different policy disagreements and all that. So I waited till almost 1 o'clock yesterday before I made any comment on this hubbub. And I called Adrian myself to get the story straight. I insisted that I talk to him before I made any comment. And I texted him early yesterday morning as soon as I heard the rumor about him pulling back law enforcement support for the president's visit. And I said, I just can't believe it. Give me a call. He texted me right back, said he was in a meeting on the consent decree, and he'd call me. And so he did. I stepped out of a House Judiciary Committee meeting, a very frank, friendly conversation. And I said, Adrian, please tell me this isn't true. And he said, well, Congressman, I mean, it is. I mean, I'm sorry, but I think state and local laws prevent me from allowing our first responders to assist in any way. And I said, why is that? He said, well, because it's a political trip. And I said, Adrian, I mean, we're talking as friends, right? I said, man, listen, this is from time immemorial. This has been part of our tradition that for obvious reasons, it's always been understood in this country that local police departments provide police protection services for visiting dignitaries. And that is regardless of their political party, their purposes, or their message on any particular trip. It's a courtesy that's always been extended, even certainly when the most powerful public official in the world, the President of the United States, makes a visit to your city. And the Secret Service is the one that coordinates that with local law enforcement. It's not the President's campaign or White House staff. It's the Secret Service and other law enforcement agencies. So, I just couldn't believe it. And I said, Adrian, you got to reverse this decision. It doesn't make sense. I'm being told by Secret Service folks that this is the first time this has ever happened. Like in the history of the country, we don't need this for our city. Please reconsider it. And he said, well, I don't know. So I waited a little while. I called him back. We had 2 conversations, and he told me that was his decision, and it's just nothing he could do about it.
Excuse me just a second, Mr. Mike.
Let it always be said that I called you first to talk to you directly about it. And then I made the social media post to explain to people that it was outrageous. And so that's how it went down.
You called it shameful.
Yeah,
I did. It is shameful. Our city, our community does not need this controversy right now. We just don't. And look, in Shreveport-Bossier, we've been privileged to host 8 visits by sitting presidents in the last half century, from LBJ to Clinton all the way down. They've always had Secret Service protection regardless of party, okay? The Shreveport Police provided security in recent years for visits by First Lady Michelle Obama, 2012. Even controversial Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan in December 2017. It made absolutely no sense. We have to protect the commander-in-chief. And it is always, everywhere he goes, it is an issue of local law enforcement cooperation and coordination. And this looks to be the first time this has ever happened, and it's just shameful.
Pardon me a second, Mr. Mike. I'm going to ask Aaron this, and then you guys can sort of hash out the answer. Is what Congressman Johnson, excuse me, both of you, is what Congressman Johnson, what he told us about his conversations with the mayor yesterday at variance with the mayor's press conference yesterday?
Yeah, because the mayor
yesterday, know, guys.
Didn't he say it didn't happen?
I don't know what he's saying. I watched the press conference. I don't know if he's implying that didn't happen, but it just clearly did, and he'll acknowledge it to you. He has to if you ask him directly. I think the press conference yesterday added even more confusion because first he said he can't provide police services, and then in the same conversation he said, well, we already did last week for the Trump rally in Monroe. So which is it? What has changed?
And we are helping again this time. He continued to say we're helping this time, but then he said the law doesn't allow it. So I don't understand.
Well, what he told me on the phone, and I mean, maybe this is in some defense of him, but he said, well, we are providing some assistance, and I'm not at liberty to say what assistance. I said, well, you're at liberty to tell me. I'm a member of Congress. I have top security clearance. You tell me. He said, well, it's some things, and this is my conjecture, not his, but maybe it's bomb squad services or something like that. Okay, so he says there's some level, but he said I can't allow police and fire to be involved. And I said, well, Adrian, that's wildly inconsistent. If you can do one, you can do the other, and you have to. You should. I mean, look, liberal Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg wrote in a unanimous opinion of the U.S. Supreme Court just 5 years ago, 2014, quote, safeguarding the president is of overwhelming importance in the constitutional system of the United States. This is something that should be way beyond political party, political differences, ideology, and all that. You have to protect the commander-in-chief, for goodness sake.
And
I think our rank-and-file officers want to be involved in
why be in on all the planning meetings and your police and fire chief pledged to be a part and had their assignments, and then at the last minute withdraw it? Am I supposed to believe that the police and fire chiefs didn't let him know, hey, we're working on this?
Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. I mean, look, I think it's pretty clear. We've all seen the accounts. Sheriff Prater's weighed in, Councilman Butcher and Nicholson and Fleury. I think it was widely understood until yesterday or the night, 2 nights ago, whenever Adrian the mayor ultimately made that decision to pull back. I think it was widely understood that, of course, Shreveport's first responders would be involved. And they were coordinating, as far as I understand it, and everything was decided, and then the mayor made this call for whatever reason. It looks like petty politics. Maybe it's not. I mean, like I say, I'm trying to give the mayor the benefit of the doubt. I have no ill will for him at all. We graduated from the same high school, Captain Shreve. I mean, we're fellow Gators. I'm trying to give him every benefit of the doubt I can. This is not personal at all. But this thing is really, really bad. And now people are talking about it on Capitol Hill, and we just didn't need this. We don't need this controversy. And it was so unnecessary and completely avoidable.